Amazing. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us. I know we've got lots of people watching today that are really interested to see, hear all your thoughts on all of your amazing books.
Oh, we'll see.
For anybody who is watching and you came in a little bit later, I did say if you've got any questions, pop it in the Q&A, or you can pop it in our Discord chat as well. I'll try and keep an eye on both. But I've also got my own set of questions as well. So to start us off, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Sure, she said with conviction. Hello, I am Lindsey Kelk. I am an author. And I would assume right now you probably know that best because of Christmas Fling, which is my current release. It's my festive rom-com that I hope you enjoyed and haven't come to tell me was terrible. Like, fingers crossed.
No, I'm sure nobody is. We've got lots of coming through, so I think that's a good sign. I mean, I've recently read it as well, and I loved it. It was just so funny, just so funny.
Thank you.
I love a good book where it's got the romance, but it just makes me laugh out loud.
The comedy is what I'm going for. So thank you. I appreciate that.
You did. Amazing then. So I'll start off with one of my first questions. So how did it all start your writing? Like, what made you think, oh, I'm going to be a writer?
Oh, do I even think that yet? I don't know. I always wanted to, I just loved books. I grew up loving books. And just that natural weird kid thing where you're like, well, I've read these books, maybe I can write one of these books. And I started writing random little stories from being really little. So it was always something I wanted to do. It was something I did my whole life. And when I went to uni, because I grew up in this sort of tiny mining village in South Yorkshire, and was not encouraged to pursue writing as a career. So they were like, oh, you like books, you can be a teacher. That's it. That's your option.
I mean,
right?
yeah.
It was like, yeah, and I'm like, great, that sounds amazing. Teachers are incredible. I can't be a teacher because I am a child and I hate them. So I'm like, have you been in a classroom full of kids? Like, I'm trying to get out of that. So I knew teaching was not an option. But I went to Nottingham Trent University and studied English, and was able to study with an author, a fantasy author called Graham Joyce. And I did a writing dissertation with him, like learned so much, but also like continued to be dispirited and discouraged from pursuing writing as a career. So I left uni, I got a job as in PR, kind of adjacent, and was able to do some copywriting and stuff and love that. And then moved from there into publishing, where I was an editorial assistant on film and TV tie-in books, which was a real education. And that was where it all really started, because working in the publishing house, even though I didn't work on any fiction myself, I saw sort of how the sausage is made in the industry. And the sausage makes very little sense. The sausage is vibes. Like, the whole industry runs on vibe. So I just thought, well, why not have a go at it? And that's how I ended up writing my first book, which was I Heart New York. And incredibly lucky, just like a lot of things falling into place at the right time, managed to get that one published. And even when it came out, it was like, good luck to me, like, you did one. Like, that's nice. And yeah, just never really I still keep waiting for someone to be like, enough of you, like, this has been a fun joke for 16 years. It still is weird to think that this is my job. But that's how we got to where we are today.
Well done for going through all that, people telling you can't do it, and still having the resilience to do it. That's amazing. And
I've just always been difficult, basically. Like, just don't ever tell me not to do something, because I'm immediately going to do it.
You've got to prove people wrong. And I will say small world as well, because I also did a university at Nottingham Trent.
Oh, no way.
Did my teacher's training. So I didn't go down the writing route. I went down the teaching route.
Amazing. See, you have the balls for it and I do not.
But no, that's amazing. I don't find it so like, when someone says they go to your uni, you get really excited. Oh, I went there.
Yeah, no, I know. And I feel like, because I live in America, and people might know Nottingham because they'll be like, Robin Hood. I'm like, yeah, that's it, fine. Nailed it, lads. Got it. So I'll just say Nottingham, and then occasionally people will be like, oh, you went to Nottingham University? I'm like, nope. Didn't get in. So wouldn't have gone anyway, because the Trent halls. We had our own shower in our room. And I don't want to say that's how I made a decision, but it was part of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I would say the same. I got into Trent instead of uni of, so they've got
Yeah.
a thing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some questions coming in from our audience already, so we'll see what they're saying. So some people said, Sam said, hi Lindsay, I've read the Christmas Wish and the Christmas Fling and I really enjoyed them.
Thank you.
Laura said, Laura, sorry, I loved I Heart New York. Please tell me you broke someone's hand with a Louboutin
The
shot?
Louboutin. I didn't, but I thought about it. Like it's been a dream. There's still time. There's still Louboutins and there's still hands. So there's still time. Never give up on a dream. Yeah.
Amazing. And then Samzo said, I have a couple of questions. Can you share a favourite scene or moment you have enjoyed writing in the Christmas Wish or the Christmas Fling?
Oh, the Christmas Wish was my Christmas book a couple of years ago, and that I don't think there was a single scene I enjoyed because it was really hard. It was for anyone who hasn't read it, it's a Groundhog Day sort of Christmas premise, so the same day is repeating, and it seemed like such a fun and easy setup that I was like, that will be so fun, and then to sit down and write it was so difficult.
Yeah.
So I am what is one of the books I'm most proud of because it was one of the hardest ones to get through the door. But although no, to be fair, I did enjoy writing the scene in Christmas Wish, if anyone's read it, where there's a Christmas pudding on fire and Gwen, the heroine, throws it down the garden and hits someone in the head with it. So but maybe I've got a weird fetish about hitting people with things in my books. But I did love that. And in Christmas Fling, the dinner scene when Laura's friends arrive for dinner on Christmas Eve, Desi and Joel. I loved writing it. I loved writing Desi and Joel, who are the best friends in the book, who just every word out of Desi's mouth was a sheer joy. It's just sheer joy. Yeah.
It was just like characters in general were just hilarious. Like the thing, like you said, the things that they come out with, you were like, surely not.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the weirdest thing because obviously it's things none of us would ever say. But she was the easiest character to write. So maybe it's what I'm thinking. I'm just not saying it. Maybe we should all start saying it because she's real popular, people. She's real popular. Lots of requests for a Desi book.
Really? Oh, would you?
I would love to. There's been a lot of requests for a Desi and a lot of requests for an Elsie, actually. People wanting to get under the skin of Elsie, who is Callum's sister, and obviously has some stuff going on. But we'll see. I don't know. This always happens when a book comes out and people love it, and I love that so much. So they always want a sequel or to know about the characters. And if I could, I would write books for literally everyone I've ever created. I think my publishers might have something to say about that. So we'll see.
I think it's nice. It's nice when people have say enjoy and they want so much more from your reading. Like,
yeah, totally.
Possibly, it also gives you ideas of what you might end up doing.
Oh, 100%. Because like even if it's not that character, you can see what is resonating with people, and you can see what people like connect with. And obviously, that's what you're trying to do with a story is like connect with people and meet them where they are. And so definitely, it helps me.
Someone's actually put in the comments, would love a Joel book.
Oh, I would love a Joel book. What a sweetheart. I feel like I don't know if I could write the experience of a gay man, despite sort of being accused of being a gay man frequently throughout my life. But if there are any gay male writers out there that do want to write it, give me a shout. Like, I'm sure we can come to an agreement. I would love that too.
Put together.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So you've given us so many brilliant books and series. If someone is brand new to your reading, your books, where do you think is the perfect place to start?
I mean, if it's now, then definitely Christmas Fling because it's Christmas. You're inclined to like it more. I appreciate that for sure. And if not, it really depends because the natural starting point always does feel like I Heart New York because that was my first book. But it is older now. It came out in 2009, which is wild. So it could feel dated to someone who was born after that book came out, which has happened a couple of times at events, and I didn't care for it. But I Heart New York. If you love New York and if you want a series, then I would always say I Heart New York, just because it was so much fun, and a real anywhere but here fantasy for me to write and to go on with all 8 books in that series. If you're looking for more of a standalone, then I usually point people at Love Story, which is a standalone that I published last summer. That is just a real love letter to romance and the genre and to readers. So I've had really nice feedback from people saying that they felt like seen in that book, that they were like, oh my God, that's me. Like, that's how I feel about these books. So I think that's a nice entryway in to just a place where we can all be ourselves and be celebrated for that.
Yeah, so I really like that's one of my questions tonight. Obviously, you've also brought your new series out where you've gone down a different avenue to romance with the Bell Witch.
Yes.
And that was one of my questions, because I read Bell Witch first and then that led me into all the rest, and I was like, wow.
Oh really? Wow.
I read Christmas Fling and then I'm making my way back through them, so I've gone the opposite way, but I would say
I mean, if you're a fantasy person, absolutely, Bell Witches. I always feel hesitant to recommend it in primarily romance spaces, because I think it's to me, it's like a Vampire Diaries, Twilight, paranormal romance, right? Like that's what I love and that's what I wanted to write. But I am aware there are some people who feel like it could have been spicier and maybe more romantic-y, because it's based in the real world, you know, it's like a contemporary fantasy. And I know a lot of readers right now prefer a spicier high fantasy. If you're looking for more of a Vampire Diaries Twilight, then like definitely read the Bell Witches. But
I've got a question in terms of, because I was going to ask whether it was linked to anything to do with Vampire Diaries, because I'm a big fan of Vampire Diaries. But also it gave me originals vibes because of New Orleans.
Thank you. Yes, no, that is 100%. Someone said that to me once before and I nearly expired on the spot from joy. So thank you. Like 2 people. I love the originals. I love the originals. I adored that show. I love New Orleans as well. So yeah, that definitely, like, not even consciously, but those shows are just like, it's one of those things where it like rewired your brain, right? I'm like, I know there's part of my brain that only operates the way it does because of Klaus Michelson. So I'm like, of course, I'm gonna bring that influence with me, especially into those books. So yeah, 100%.
I think it obviously works so well with the witch side of things. I know obviously we know vampires is Vampire Diaries and originals is vampires, but there's the witches in it, so it just flows.
There's witches. Yeah, there's always witches. That's what I'm learning. Like in every stage of literature throughout time, there's always been witches. Like, bless them, get some witches, like go for it. And not given the respect that vampires so often are. So, you know, more love for witches, please.
Yeah, let's bring all the witch books out. It's fine. Amazing. So did you find it hard writing a different genre after writing so many romance?
Yeah, it was hard in a way that I hadn't anticipated, because I came up with the idea for that book so long ago and just kept getting pushed back from people saying like, oh, no one's reading fantasy, no one's going to want to read it, you're going to bring it out and it'll just disappear. So no one wanted to publish it, so I couldn't write it. But they told me no, so I kept going. And then eventually when fantasy sort of came back up on people's radar, I gave it another push and thankfully it found a home. It was so fun to write it because it is something I love. Like I've said, paranormal romance, I just adore it. The thing that was difficult about it is the structure of the book. Like I am very much someone who writes just like sits down with an blank page and just goes for it. I know what the beginning is, I know sort of where the ending is probably going to be, and then the rest of it is like, let's find out what happens. You can't really do that with fantasy because there's so much world building and so much structure and everything affects everything. And it's like, if you've established this one thing like back here, that is going to have a massive effect in book 3, you know, like you don't even know when that's going to come back, and you can plant seeds and do that on purpose, but then sometimes a seed you planted actually counteracts what you wanted to do later. There was so much more editing, there was so much more world building and structure. And I just book 2 is out in February, and going then back to book 2 and like building on what the foundation set down in book 1, it was like so fun, but so much hard work in a good way, but also like woof, like I really made this tricky for myself. Romance is
you're like, why did I not
need that
first book?
Exactly. I'm like, why would you put prophecy in a book? Because now we've got to deal with that, you daft mare. Like there's just like literally everything that she does or says or happens, and it's like we've got to get back to that. You did establish this. Let's maybe pick it up
one day.
Yeah, right.
So is it just going to be 2 books, or is it plans for more after that?
It's a trilogy. Right now it's a trilogy. It was always pitched to be a trilogy. Like I knew what the structure was for the 3 books. So I'm going to be starting on book 3 relatively soon. I have a couple of things in front of that, but yeah, it's book 2 was again like a challenge in a different way because it's the middle point and you don't want a saggy middle, you know, like that's the thing with trilogy. Sometimes it feels like you're just treading water to get to book 3.
People often say up and then down and then up again.
Yeah, exactly. And I really didn't want that. So it was a massive case of like actually amping up the tension and amping up the stakes in book 2 and making it that book 3 can't happen without book 2. So yeah, that was actually more of a fun challenge because it really pushed me to like ramp up the stakes and just throw even more madness at it. So yeah, that was fun.
Oh well, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. I like
Thank
when
you.
I read a book and I know the next one's very close to coming out. So.
Yes, yeah, same. I love that.
So much easier. And then I'm going to read a second one. I have to wait. So
I know, and I feel terrible about the whole thing because that is a
no.
minute away. But
it
we'll
sounds
get there.
like a very long process. So don't worry.
Yeah, truly.
Amazing. So obviously it's based in Savannah.
Yes.
Obviously we know you just said that obviously you like the original and Vampire Diaries and that's way. But how did you decide you wanted Savannah as your like setting for that book?
I just love that town so much. My husband is American and from the South. He's from South Carolina, but he has family sort of all over Georgia and Tennessee and those areas. And he was actually working in Savannah for a while. He's a TV editor, and he was working on a show that was filming in Savannah. And I went down to visit for a few days and was just like, this is the most beautiful place I've ever been. And I don't know if you've been to New Orleans, but anyone that's been to New Orleans, because that's sometimes more likely to have visited it because it's such a popular touristy spot. It's very similar, but with like less chaos vibes. Like New Orleans, obviously such a party town, and Savannah is more of a quietly party town. Like they're very, it does feel like there's stuff going on under the surface all the time in Savannah. Like it's people are exactly the same, but they're like on the surface, it's all very proper. Because such an old town. It's been there. It's one of the oldest towns in America. It's got some of the oldest architecture. It was one of the first settlements. And yeah, I say that I had the idea for the book so long ago, but there was always like one thing missing that I couldn't work out. And when I got to Savannah, like that was a big part of it. That was like, oh my God, that should be set here. Like, and it just, the book came to life because there's so much of the story that hangs on being in Savannah. The city itself is part of it. So yeah, we love it.
Obviously, places that are in the book, are they based off places that are there?
Yeah, they're almost all real places. Even Bell House, which is Emily's home, is a big, beautiful old house. It's a B&B now called the Hamilton Turner Inn, and it's just stunning to look at. And I probably should tell them. I'm like, sorry lads, I borrowed your house. Apologies, because people do keep coming and taking photos, but they already do because it's like a famous house. So I think it's fine.
It's good for them.
Yeah,
they're got to be good for
exactly.
them.
Oh, they are doing fine. I am actually going back to Savannah in February. There's a Savannah Book Festival, and I've been invited to go, which is so exciting. And I was looking at like maybe I'll stay at the Hamilton Turner Inn and like live my Bell Witches moment, and it's like outside of the price range of the tour. Unfortunately, it's wild. But it's fine. I'll just like wander around. Good for them. I know. I'm like, well done, lads. You're doing okay. But yeah, it's just everywhere is beautiful. Forsyth Park is real. All the squares are real. Like the homes that are described, the locations, like Wormslow Plantation. Like this is all there. It's just like I can't believe there aren't more things set in Savannah because it's just stunning. Really,
I feel like book a holiday there right now.
Oh, I would honestly, I'd recommend anyone. Like a lot of the time, you're like, oh, maybe don't don't make bold choices. But I have only ever had a wonderful time. Great restaurants, great bars, a really fun place.
Great. So obviously you just said it seems like in Savannah there's lots of things going off online, but you portrayed that really well in the book, because there's so much like the magic is going on and no one's someone's so clueless. Like it's not really a spoiler, but one of the scenes where she's having food at the restaurant with her grandma and the things and she's just acting like it's not happening, and I'm like,
because this is part of it in the Well Witches, the family, obviously, that she comes from a family of witches, and they've had the magic. They've always had their magic, and they've always known how to operate it and how to live in society with it and use it and when not to use it. And just that was a really fun one to write. Actually, I loved writing Catherine, who's Emily's grandmother. She's such a fun, layered character that's got so much going on. And sometimes you're in Savannah and you sit down talking to people, like the old Pink House, which is that restaurant, which is a real place. You'll go in and there'll be all these sort of like older proper Southern ladies there having these very proper conversations, and you're just like, I just want to know what's really going on in your brain, because it's not what you're talking about. It's so polite. Yeah, right. Which one of you is a witch? I know it's got to be one of you. Like, you could just believe it. You could just absolutely believe it when you're there. There's so much wild stuff.
That's amazing. Right. Well, in terms of, obviously, you mentioned that when you write, you sit down and you write, that you plan your beginning and your end. But do you have like any ritual before that, like the place where you have to write, or like a drink that you have to have?
Not really. I feel like I used to do that more as a crutch. I'd be like, I cannot start if I do not have my Sour Patch Kids and my M&Ms. But actually, it's just an excuse to eat Sour Patch Kids and M&Ms. Less so as I've got on, and I actually have started moving around when I write, which is weird. Like, the only place I never write is at my desk, which is so stupid, because do you know how much I spent on that desk? Like, so much money. And on the postured, like, chair, and then I'm just slouched on the sofa being like,
not the only author that has said this though.
I know, and we're all idiots, and then we're all like, oh, I've got back problems.
Oh, my arms are hurting from
time. I know, I've got like, this arm keeps going numb because I'm like writing at a weird angle. I'm like, the doctor's just going to laugh you out the room. But yeah, I've got a sofa in my office where I'll sometimes write. Been writing at the dining table weirdly a lot this year. I don't know why. Can't tell you why. This morning I was writing on the sofa in the living room, which I never do. But I was like, let's enjoy the tree. Let's sit and enjoy the tree.
Exactly. You needed a festive mood this morning to write.
Exactly. Yeah. The main thing is just doing it. Like, that's the only. Anything else is procrastination and an excuse. Like, that is the ritual. Is doing it. It's forcing yourself to write. Sadly.
Fine. Perfect. So which part of writing a book is your happy place, and which part makes it hard? I want you to lie down on the floor and give up.
All of it. I generally prefer drafting to editing. I know a lot of authors love to edit because they've got the book, they've got the draft, and they're just like fixing it and perfecting it. I feel like I've got to go back over my homework. I'm like, I did it. Why have I got to redo it? Why is it covered in red lines? Why are they mad? Like, why did the teacher not give it a good mark? But I love the creation of it. Like I said, like, I don't have a plan. It comes to life as I'm doing it. So for me, writing feels a lot like reading, because I'm discovering the story as I go along. So once it's out, once I know what happens, I'm like way less interested in it. I'm like, I know what happens now. But there is like, then you get those moments when you figure out something that needed fixing. And like, that is a real high. You're like, oh my God, if I just add that one line back in chapter 3, this thing here in chapter 25 is like hits so hard. So that feels great. But yeah, I like the creation of it rather than the perfection of it.
Yeah,
which explains a lot to some people, I'm sure.
I've said it before when someone said there's that thing that the editing, I would be able to deal with someone telling me my work was wrong, or you have to like, no.
Exactly. Oh, there are times when I have known it's bad. Like, there's sometimes you deliver it and you're like, it just needs more work than others. And I've got the editor's letter and I'm like, guess what? Guess who's not opening that email for like a week? Because I don't want to. And it's so childish and it's so stupid. But I'm like, I know it's bad. I know what needs fixing. I don't want you to tell me. But that is literally their job and why they exist. And they're usually better at it than you, which is, again, their job. So you do have to do it eventually. But yeah, who wants to be told, like, it was bad? Like, not me.
Amazing. So What book of yours has surprised you the most when I writing it? So you've written it and you're just surprised by the reaction or how it's ended up
Ooh.
coming out.
Partly the Bell Witches, just because I had wanted to write it for so long, and then when it actually came about, I was like, "Whoa, it's real shit." So that was a bit of a shocker. And honestly, Christmas Fling has been a shock in a lovely way, because I was just like in a very stressful place when I wrote it. I was very stressed out. I did not feel great about it. I was just like, I don't know if it's any good. Like, we had all these back and forths on like the cover, and it just like I never felt on solid ground with it. I always was just like, are we putting out something that's not good enough? And I am so anxious about it. I felt like I wanted more time with it, and then it has been like one of my most successful books in a long time, and like my first ever USA Today bestseller in the States, which is nuts because it didn't have like a huge marketing push behind it. Like, there's no special editions, there's no sprayed edges, there's no subscription boxes. Like, it just went out into the world, and we hoped for the best. And it is word of mouth from readers and mostly independent bookshops who have sold it, who have pushed it. And to see it succeed on those terms is like very heartwarming and rewarding, but also like genuinely surprising, because these days I feel like that doesn't happen. That like you've got to have 8 different versions of your book to get anywhere these days. Like, you need people to buy 5 versions of the same thing to get in the charts. So yeah, that's been really surprising in a very good way.
Yeah, I mean, it's come out at the best time of the year because it fits
Yes,
straight.
that's true.
Yeah. And I think obviously the humour is. I mean, you must be a very funny person because the humour is amazing.
Just like a very insecure person. I think whenever you read something that's genuinely funny, you're like, wow, this person hates himself. Because like they're just trying. But yeah, I was the youngest child, and like all the classic cliches, like child of divorce, youngest kid, like always trying to like get positive attention by making people laugh. Like, it was not especially popular. All the things that make someone funny as an adult. All the things that we all are like, oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah. So
yeah, relatable a little bit. Yeah. So obviously
yeah.
you always use in your romance, you use humor, but you also use real life problems in situations. How do you get that balance right?
That is a really good question. I don't know. Because the humor is, like I said, it's so important to me. I love getting the humor right, because I think it's actually really hard to make people laugh. Rather than just be like, it's like to actually be like, that was funny. Like, that's very exciting to me. I think it's easier to make people fall in love with the character, or with a guy, or with the male character, because it's like men have to do the bare minimum, don't they? It's like such a low bar. It's like, let's have him do slightly more than the bare minimum, and we will all love him and appreciate him for that. But to make people laugh is harder, and then to connect with people emotionally, I think, is harder again. So yeah, it's usually something from my own experience, or something that I've been very, very close to. Sorry, my voice is going to go. So yeah, there's a lot of that. I've actually it's not weirdly, I'm like, I lost my mum 11 years ago, which is like forever ago now. It feels so long ago, but like that only sort of started showing up in my books over the last couple of years. So I guess as humans, we process things differently, and things come out slowly, and you only know how you feel about something like way down the line, or I only know how I feel about something like years after. So yeah, it is. I mean, honestly, thank you everybody for giving me free therapy, because therapy is really expensive, and I appreciate having an arena to put all my mess. So that's really where it starts from. And then yeah, just getting the feedback from people that connected with it, or saw themselves in it, or said, oh, I hadn't thought about it like that. And just to say it's okay. Do you know what I mean? We're all going through so much mad stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
So that's really where I'm trying to get to with that side of it. It's just like, not that anyone needs my permission, but sometimes we just need someone not connected to us in any way to be like, it's totally okay that you feel like this, and like completely valid.
And I
So,
think it does. It is portrayed very well in the book, and I think that's a lot. Like, from when I read it, you can relate with it in some ways. Sometimes it's nice when you're reading a book and you can relate in some ways. So thank you for sharing that with us.
No, thank you.
Amazing. Right then. So I'm going to go for a couple of questions on it. I feel like we're going. The people are bringing up all different books, so you're going to be like, yeah. Amazing. So we just had a question, and I believe it's about Belle. So, do you know how the story of Emily will end, or is it still up in the air whilst you write?
I do. I've always known the ending. Actually, how we get there is always in flux. Like, things will come up in the writing of book 1 and 2, and I was like, oh, that's going to change how that happens, or that's going to change how that gets there. But I've always known like what the end of the book is, or at least what her ending is. I will say there are other characters now where I'm like, I thought I knew, and maybe I don't. So we'll see. But yeah, no spoilers. But it's locked in, baby. Learn my lesson from all the TV shows that do not have an ending and make it up as they go along.
Oh yeah. Oh, when it's like the show's been amazing and then the final bit's just not done it, and you're like, no.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's just not do that. That's literally the only thing. When people are like, how do you not end up in a Game of Thrones situation? I'm like, well, you just like write it. You write it first, and that will take you miles. It turns out. Yeah.
I've got a question, though. So obviously you said you liked Vampire Diaries. Have you read the books?
Yes. I haven't read all the books. I read some of the books. I used to work at HarperCollins in the US, and I think they were publishing them when the show came out. So there was some floating around, and I did read a couple of them, and I'm like, ooh, it's fun. I love a good YA.
Did they have more detail than the TV show?
It's so different. They do, and like so much of it is the same. But I just think like that show, it's a different animal. Like, you know, it's like if you love the books, I'm sure the show is really weird to you.
Yeah.
But I just love that show, and the relationships that they built, and how everyone just felt like a real person. Like you could bump into Caroline on the street and you would know her. I mean, you know, like they just did such a good job. And the books are just like, they're great, but they're different.
Yeah, because I got them, I just not had a chance to read them. So I was like,
yeah. Yeah, they're really quick reads. So
yeah, quite thin, aren't they?
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Right, we've had another question. Will we see Angela or Jenny pop up in any of your new books?
Ooh, not any of the imminent books, let's say, but maybe. Actually, that just gave me a really good idea. I'm like, yeah, yeah. For now they are done. I don't want to drag them out of their happy endings for nothing. But it's never know. I love them. I will occasionally be like, what would they be up to now? And I'm like, oh, actually, do we want to know? Because they would be like older and they've got their kids, and maybe it's not quite as many fun shenanigans. Maybe it's just like actually real life. So I don't know. Maybe we'll like see their kids. Maybe we'll see the second generation. Who wouldn't want to know what Jenny Lopez's child was going to turn out like? I do. I want to know. So who knows?
Great. And then someone said, I love your books. Can I please ask which of your characters you think is closest to your personality?
Oof. I mean, it's definitely started out with Angela. Like that book, I Heart New York, was my escape book. Like, you know, I never thought I would get it published. I was just writing to write. And I very much put my personal situation in her. Like, I was in a shitty relationship and I hated my job and just wanted to get away. And I had recently been to New York for work at a last minute, totally random. Someone else got ill and couldn't go, so I went in their place. It was like a proper rom-com setup, except without the rom part. It was just the com. And like down to like, I got to the hotel in New York and like they didn't have my reservation and I didn't have a credit card and all this stuff because I was like 24, 25. I was like, what do I do? You know, it was like ridiculous, and like thankfully it all got sorted out. But yeah, that was very much me at that time. And I think there always is, like, I think there's always going to be parts of you in each character. Laura in Christmas Fling is like definitely her own beast, like very she's a STEM girly. She's like a science person who like is looking for logic and trying to make sense of everything. But then there are definitely parts of her where that I identify with in my past, where she is like, I'm just like not going to get involved. I'm just going to stay over here. I've got my friends. Everything's fine. And I definitely went through that. And the book I'm writing right now actually is I'm writing a college romance, which is a wild ride. And writing the female character in that book is like just like going back to uni and being like, yep, yep, this is me at uni. Like it's not, but it is. Like so much of it as I'm writing it, I'm like, yeah. Like we're just weird book girl who finally got to uni and thought her time had come and then was like, oh God, like why is it still hard? Everyone said everything would be perfect once I got to uni. And it just continued to be difficult because you are still you, unfortunately, even though you think everything's going to change overnight. So that has been really fun to write and to sort of dig into all of that.
Are you allowed to tell us much about it?
I am. It is finally announced. I mean, not much because it's not finished, but yeah, it's a series. The first book comes out next June, and the first book is called Hit or Miss. And the series as a whole is the premise is junior year abroad. So it is a group of American students attending a British university. So I've been able to sort of play with both sides, like with my American friends and family. Like I am technically American or half now. I have my dual citizenship, so I am a British American. As much as we're not thrilled about that right now, but yeah, it's been fun to do both, to take American characters and put them in the UK, because I've done the opposite so many times. I've taken sort of British characters and put them in America, and having spent so much time explaining the UK to Americans and be like, nope, it's not like that. Nope, we don't know the Queen. Nope, not everyone went to boarding school. Nope, it's like some things that you think are cliches and people won't really ask, but they really do. So that has been really fun to play with. And actually it's going out under a pseudonym, under a pen name, but not really. So it is going out under Kelk, which is so cryptic and no one will ever get it. But yeah, the American publisher, they've changed publishers to do it. My American publisher wanted to have a separation between the adult rom-coms and the new adult college. Even though I don't know if they've noticed, but like most college and new adult is read by adults. We all are reading the same books, but they were convinced that they're like, no, like Gen A and Gen Z want like a different name on it. And I'm like, whatever you need, lads, whatever gets it through the door, you're the publisher, you know best. No one will ever figure out that L. Kelk with a photo of me in the book is actually me. No one will ever know.
No.
It's geniuses running publishing.
Why don't is it your name muddled up?
It's just ELLE instead of Lindsey. Yeah.
Right,
I know. I was like, it's no one's fault. I don't know it's fine. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine with it. I find it lightly hilarious. The only thing it's been a problem for so far was they put me down as L. Kelk to get into the building for a meeting, and strangely enough, I did not have ID. So someone had to come and get me. I'm like, we need to think this through, friends. Like, if we're gonna do these things.
A lot of authors do it, like obviously Lovie Gilmore, who does romance as well. She a pseudonym as well. So yeah. No, but I am with you. I'm an adult and I read YA.
Yeah,
sometimes
so much
to read, like to get some when my brain
exactly. And college romance in particular, I have loved reading because I think if you are that age and you're experiencing it, it's great because it's relatable and you know it's not just you and we're all going through these massive big changes and huge emotions and you're experiencing everything for the first time, and that's why it's so fun to read and to write. But I think if you are older, it's nostalgic too. You're like, oh my God, remember when I thought this was the end of the world? Like, I've still got all my diaries from uni and I was a literal monster. I'm like, I just want to go back and like give this girl a slap and just say, no, he's not worth it. B, he's a massive loser. And C, you're being gaslit up and down. Like I read those diaries, I'm like, oh, it's me, I'm crazy, never liked me. I'm like, then why did he walk you home at 2:00 in the morning? She says, why? Explain that. It's just crazy.
I feel like I'm going to really enjoy it to read that though, because I feel like that was probably
I hope so. Yeah. Sadly not set in West Bridgeford, but give it time. Give it time.
That'd have been fun. That would have been fun. It would have been really
It would have
fun.
been fun. It would have been fun. Yeah.
Oh, it honestly feels
Why would he
great.
walk all the way from Rock City to West Bridgeford? This only means something to you. But why would he do that if he was not interested?
Oh
Why?
yeah. Yes, yeah. Why would you do? You say it's a 10-minute walk. It's not a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, no, it's not a 10-minute walk. Like, why did I even accept that offer? Like, it was so far. It was hours. It was hours. But, felt very romantic at the time.
Oh, honestly, if it's find it so crazy that because I've just moved out of Nottingham, so to be able to
Oh,
be
no way.
West Bridgeford and stuff, I'm like, oh wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Small world, right then. So now we're speaking about I've got like a character questions again. So we got the iHeart series has such loyal fans. Why do you think readers connect so deeply with Angela?
Well, I wish I knew. I think Angela just, partly I think readers, because I, as a reader, connect very closely to authentic characters. I think like authentic. And she was like that. Angela was just genuinely born of like my frustrations and my dreams and what I wished I could have, and all of the places in life, the parts of life where I felt were difficult and wanted to get out of and didn't know how. So I just like let her do it in a book, and that was like, it actually did help me like make those changes in my real life afterwards. And maybe reading it does the same thing. I think sometimes when you connect with a character that feels so real, it helps you believe in that character, and then you're invested in the story. Also, Alex, who is the main male character in the iHeart series, I've never written anyone as popular as Alex. I never will. Callum coming in a close second, actually, in Christmas Fling, because it turns out you put a man in a kilt on a cover and the ladies go wild. But Alex, just like, he was that musician. It was the 2010, so he's that like skinny guitar boy with the floppy hair who we all wished we could tame, for want of a better expression, like, because Alex didn't actually need to be tamed. He was emotionally intelligent and available, which is wild because they weren't really. I think, which again might be part of the appeal. He was very much a fantasy character. And the friendships as well, like, we've already had people ask about Jenny. Like, Jenny was easily as popular as Angela, and Angela was Oz. I think Jenny is the friend we wish we had, or the person we wish we were, because she was more of a Desi when it came to her behavior and how she treated people. So yeah, it was just a real combination. I was just so lucky to like hit that combination and have people stick along for the ride.
Amazing. Right. So next one I've got is, if you could grab a drink with any of your characters, who would you choose?
Oof. It is tricky because your instinct is to say like a Jenny Lopez or a Desi, because it would be really fun. But I also fear it would end in one of us getting arrested. So I would be afraid to go for drinks with them. Maybe one drink would be fine. Oh gosh, honestly, this is very random and people will be like, what? But Catherine in the Bell Witches, because Catherine, the grandmother in the Bell Witches, has got like a lot to tell.
Yes.
Like, I have a lot of questions for Catherine. I think she would be an incredible hostess. I think she would take care of you to start with. I have a lot of questions for her. I would like to sit down and have a little chat with Catherine about some of her life choices.
A great hostess, but I feel like she's an alternative more all the time.
Yeah. I just a lot of questions for her. That's the main thing there. So absolutely.
It'd be an interesting drink for sure.
Yeah.
Now this one's very similar, but if you could swap lives with somebody,
Oof.
swap with.
That one's actually really easy, because it would be Angela Clark in the iHeart series, because I don't live in New York anymore, and while I love my husband, I moved to LA for him because his job is here, and I love LA, but like there's just nowhere like New York in the whole wide world. And Angela's a writer, so I wouldn't have to worry too much. Like, I can do that job, so that would work. And yeah, I would be living in New York with my super hot husband in my beautiful Brooklyn townhouse. Hopefully, no spoilers, but they did have a kid, and that's not ideal for me because that'll be a struggle. But she's older now, I'm sure. Like, we'd be fine. But yeah, Angela in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I need to leave. I'm going to leave this Q&A. I'm going to just pick that book up. Like, I just need to read it. I feel like I've missed out by not reading it.
It was just so much fun. I will. The only thing is, it's weird now that I'm like, please remember it was written in 2000 and God, it came out in 2009. It was like written in 2007, so it was a different time. It was a different time.
I love that about books though. Like for me, like I wasn't a reader when I was younger, so like I'm like older and I love reading. And like people are like, have you read the Hunger Games? And I was like, I've not read the Hunger Games. So I'm going back
so much.
I should have read. So I probably would enjoy it real much.
Yeah.
So your books take us to so many amazing places. Obviously, we talked about Savannah. Obviously, we had Scotland and the Christmas Fling. How do you pick them? Like, are these always places you've been to, or do you just pick?
Usually places I've been to or places I want to go to. So Christmas Fling, I partly because I was in Scotland for the Love Story tour the year before, and I was just like, oh, I just like want to write a book in the Highlands because it's so beautiful. And I love that part of the tour, like that part of the train ride. We always take the train up, and it's so beautiful. And I just think like, oh, so wild and open and gorgeous, and such a contrast to London, which is where Laura lives, and she's built this sort of tiny walled up world around herself. So I wanted to put her in somewhere that was like completely the opposite of that. So Scotland made perfect sense. I Heart New York again. Yeah, I'd just been to New York on this insane work trip and just fallen in love with it. Like I'd never felt like that about a single place in the whole world. I just immediately was like, I want to be here. I want to move here. I want to live here. I had no idea how to do it. So I wrote a book instead. Savannah, same thing, just fell in love with it. Just I go back as often as I physically can. It's just such an incredible place. And yeah, then there are places like in the I Heart series, some of the places Angela went to in those books were places that I really wanted to go to and I thought would fit the story. So like, where did she go? Las Vegas is one. She went to Vegas, and I love Vegas, and was genuinely just looking for an excuse to make my friends go. So I'm like, let's set a story in Vegas, and we did, and it was magic. Hawaii, set a couple of books in Hawaii because it's just such a beautiful place, and the first time was because I wanted to go. I'm like, let's do about a girl in Hawaii. Let's set a story in Hawaii because it just is. It's escapism as well, and like, where better to escape to?
Yeah.
And obviously being in the States, it's like a much easier proposition than being in the UK. Hawaii is only sort of 5 hours from me, which is much easier than England, where I believe it is a full 24.
Probably. But well, it's an excuse to go and research places for you.
Exactly. Very important research that had to be done. Very important.
Since I said I had not read I Heart New York, people are like, you must read it,
Yeah.
and that they've reread it multiple times. So they've all sold it to me as well. So
amazing. Thanks, friends. I appreciate it.
Samantha has asked, how many people do you reckon have gone out and bought Marc Jacob bags because of I Heart New York?
Oh my God, so many. And I get messages all the time. I used to, not as much now, it's been a minute, but I used to get so many messages, people being like, oh my God, did they give you like loads of free stuff for all the free advertising? I'm like, no, they don't know I exist. They don't know anything. And I used to have a folder on my computer of photos people had sent me of either their Marc Jacobs bag or stood outside the Marc Jacobs shop on Bleecker Street in New York when it was there. And I'm just like, how do we get this to Mark? How do I get this to my new future best friend, Marc Jacobs? And there was no answer to that. But yeah, I'm filled with joy because, like, who shouldn't own a beautiful handbag that they love? And I do love if it made someone push the button and treat themselves. Yes, you deserve it. Get that handbag. Absolutely.
Charlotte, one of our viewers, has put, I may have been one of them people influenced by this.
Thank you. I love that. Send me a photo if you've still got it. I want to see.
I get an Instagram.
Yes.
And someone's asked, yes, I think one about Christmas Fling here. Yes, how easy was it getting the Scots dialect in the Fling? I live in Scotland. I loved reading it. I was giggling out loud in the best way.
Oh my God, it was so difficult. Again, it was one of those things that I did not think through properly. because I live in fear of getting it wrong, completely wrong. Because I'm like, people will tell you that, like, no, that's not how it is. And with Bell Witches, I felt that very much because it's set in Savannah and it's very, very much in the South. And thankfully, like I said, my husband and his family are in the South, so I can hear it, in my head. I could hear that cadence, so that was easier to do. I have Scottish family, but they are from Edinburgh, so it's completely different to the Highlands. And explaining that to people, they're like, especially in America, where they're like, that Scotland's so adorable and cute. I'm like, the dialects are different from one town to the next, friends. You don't understand how specific it is. So I did a lot of research. I talked to a lot of people. I really wanted to get it right and not let anybody down, and not embarrass myself. I am led to believe I've done a solid job. There are a few things, and a couple of them I will say the copy editor changed. Because one person did message me like, oh, this should have been that. I'm like, oh my God, it was. I remember it so clearly. It was. So I'm just absolving myself of guilt from that one. But yeah, it did mean a lot to me to get it right. And I am very pleased to have had feedback from Scottish readers who said I did. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine it being really hard. Obviously, like you don't want to say the wrong thing because you're going to upset people, but then also you're not an expert.
No, exactly. And it's like that whole book was just like, I made it so hard for myself. Like, why did I make her a neurosurgeon? Because now I have to learn about being a neurosurgeon. Like, you idiot. And I've got friends who are neuroscientists and they read it. And then I'm like, they're going to tell me that it's bad, but they didn't. It got me okay. Yeah. I'm just going to stop giving myself difficult tasks. Although now I've like pitched a book about a rower. I'm like, what do I know about rowing? What do I know? Please, someone tell me, what do I know about rowing? What an idiot. I just keep doing it to myself.
You just like a challenge.
Apparently so. Apparently so. Couldn't have just made it like the first book. The guy in the first book of the college romance series is a football player, British football. So I'm like, I know about that. That's fine. Like, this is great. And then I was like, no, why have I pitched a rower and like a violinist? You idiot.
A violinist?
And I played violin at school. So I was like, oh, we've got this nailed in. I'm like, oh, that was some time ago and you were not good. So that is also going to be more hard work. I'm a fool. But
absolutely love that. Jen said in the group, in the messages, I live in Edinburgh. Oh, the message vanished. I live in Edinburgh and you have been one of my favourite authors since 2010.
Oh, thank you very much. I love Edinburgh. I love it so much.
I know.
Tried to Edinburgh Uni and it did not happen.
My partner just been there for the last 3 days on a work thing and I was so jealous. I was like, I really want to be there.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful. Like, any chance I'm up there.
Yeah, brilliant. Right. So my next question is, what, in terms of, you've got 2 genres, so we can give us one from each one if you want. What book would you recommend? Your most favourite romance, and what favourite?
Other people's, obviously, she says.
Yeah,
or mine. I was going to say not mine because I don't know. I'm like, there's only Bell Witches. That would be so easy. Oh God, what is my favorite? I'm so bad at this. And I had a list on my phone of everything I read, and I don't know if anyone else has enjoyed the recent Apple update. It deleted all my notes, deleted every note in my notes app, and I'm not okay with it. But we're moving on. I've lost so much.
I have so much in my notes. I don't realize how much.
No, same. And I was just like, wait, where is it? What's happening? What is this? But you know what? I'm like, maybe it's freeing. Maybe this is one of those things where they're like, you didn't need it, let it go. And I'm like, did need it, wanted it.
It's decluttering it for you, because I think I have something like 1,000 notes.
Yes, I'm like, but now I can't answer these questions about what have I read. Couldn't tell you. Favorite of all time romance is just always going to be Bridget Jones, just because that was like so influential on me as a teenager, as a very inappropriately young. Actually, what do I weirdly have? Something else that was influential and not appropriate. It's Sweet Valley High Super Edition Special Christmas, which I found in a secondhand bookshop the other day, and I'm very excited to own it because Sweet Valley High series also massively influential on me, and probably why I heart New York with the series, because I loved that series growing up. But I wouldn't recommend anyone read it now because it's very problematic. Bridget Jones, 100%, always the best. Like, it's always good. And fantasy,
So many, it's so hard.
I know, and it's so many different genres. Like I did do a Twilight reread last year. I listened to them on audiobook because I hadn't read them since like probably they came out. And that was a real eye opener. That was a wild ride. I also read Midnight Sun. It's not my favorite, but it is going to be my recommendation. If anyone has not read Midnight Sun, which is the Twilight saga from Edward's point of view, or the Twilight, the first book, it's insane. It's mad. This has now become my stupid thing that I keep talking about at events when I shouldn't. I am obsessed with that book because it's nuts. And I just can't quite fathom its existence. Like, why did she write it? What possessed her to share the inner workings of Edward Cullen's mind? Because he's mad. And I don't know. It was really interesting. If you are a Twilight fan, you haven't read it. It's long. It might be worth your time when you've got that time. It's like a great plane book, like
Long journey plane.
long journey book. Yeah. Other than that, I've read so much fantasy recently because there's obviously so much coming out. I really did love, and she's my friend, so it's cheating, but I really did love Julie Soto's Rose in Chains. Just because it's like, I've got hair in my mouth, that's classy. It does a really good job of like just taking you away. Like immediately I was immersed in it. Immediately I was just like in that world. So,
I love a fantasy one does that, so I'm gonna add that to my list.
yeah, that was it, like right away. And then like huge twist at the end because it's also a trilogy. And I literally texted her and was like, with the twist, and she was just like, ha, 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 and that was all it was. I'm like, how dare you?
How would
dare
you
you
like,
laugh?
tell me?
Yeah, no, seriously. I was like, what? Because something just happens at the end that you just do not see coming, that you're like, and it just
Now I
changes
have to read
everything.
it.
Yeah,
I
genuinely,
have to.
like I loved it. I really did love it.
I
She's
love a good twist.
annoyingly talented. She also does fantasy and romance and YA thriller. Like she can write anything, and that's rude. That's extremely rude. Yeah.
I mean, that's very talented as well.
Super,
Amazing.
super talented.
We've got a question and said, I'm new to writing and I absolutely love the Christmas Fling. My very favourite thing was the humour. It had me laugh out loud and I loved the British culture reference like the M&S service station. What shall I read next if you would recommend another of your books?
Ooh, another of mine. I definitely would, if you're in the mood to still saying Christmas, Christmas Wish is the one for you. If you are looking for more of like, yeah, British lols love story, because that's set in it's like a British summer party at her parents' house. Like it's just very much like an English summer moment. So definitely that. There's been so much feedback about that M&S scene. People love the M&S scene. I did an event in LA and all the American readers, like all they wanted to talk about was M&S Simply Food. Like they were like, what is a Christmas sandwich? Explain these tubs to me. I was like, literally, we're like passing people a phone being like, no, it's this, like, let me explain it to you. So thrilled to share the gospel of M&S food in America.
You'll have to be
So
sponsored
funny.
with them as well as Marc Jacobs.
I've got nothing coming. I got nothing coming from anybody. I don't know what I've done to offend people. Couldn't even get me one free Christmas sandwich. Come on, friends.
I think it was a security guard bit in it as well that made me laugh.
Thank you. I felt bad for him. He had to do so much cleaning up.
So Megan said, would you ever consider turning your books into a film, TV series? There have been some good ones and some terrible ones.
That's true. That is accurate. Yes, absolutely. I have gone so far down the path on so many things, so many times. It's one of the weirdest things that stuff gets optioned and then like you don't talk about it. You're not supposed to talk about it until it gets greenlit, until it's like actually happening. So, but I'm just like, I want to tell people, like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I got optioned. But then like 6 months later, it just like dies. And you're like, okay, now I'm glad I didn't tell anyone. And I see it happening all the time, and to friends as well, who are like, will announce this big deal and then like Lively sues the company and like it goes away. Like the weirdest things that's got nothing to do with you when projects just die. But yeah, I do have stuff like there's a pilot script for an iHeart New York TV show, which we've been like, people have come on board and then gone away, and like, you know, that's come and gone so many times. And at first it was like, oh no, because Emily in Paris came out and it's too similar. And then it was like, well, we want things like Emily in Paris. And now it's like, oh, now there's that show, I Love LA. So no one wants an I Heart New York. And I'm just like, I am not in control of these things. Like, I can't control what other people are doing. And we had a series order for Single Girls To Do List at Paramount Plus. And then when Paramount Plus went up for sale, that got cancelled. Like, that didn't happen. And yeah, Christmas Wish has been with so many people over and over. But yeah, I would love to do it. I would love to see it. I think it's getting better. I think we're getting better at adaptations. Like the People We Meet on Vacation, the Emily Henry that's coming out is so well done. It's so good. I think that will give people like more faith than how things have been in the past. And the Heated Rivalry obviously is out right now. The Off Campus series is coming out next year. There's a Carly Fortune adaptation coming out next year. Like there's a lot more coming, and I think it will help. Yeah.
We've got the thrillers coming out. We've got Freedom McFadden's one coming out soon.
Yes,
And
yeah.
so
I keep getting emails about that. I'm like, lads, let it go.
I will admit, like, when I see books, I'm always like, oh, I don't want it to be ruined, because sometimes it does happen.
No, absolutely.
It doesn't always go.
100 times, yeah. I mean, and even when it's done well, there's still stuff that you loved about the original. Like, I have a bunch of authors got to see a screening of People We Meet on Vacation like a couple of months ago, and everyone was like, oh my God, they did such a good job. Like, obviously they've changed stuff. They had to, like, nothing is ever a direct adaptation. It's just not possible. And we all loved it. We were like, oh my God, they did such a good job. Like, as an author, it really felt like they honored her work and like told the story of the book. But then there were a couple of people there who were just mega fans, who are also friends of ours, but they're not writers. They're just Emily Henry mega fans. And they hated it. They were so angry about what had been changed. And I'm just like, there isn't a version of that film that they would have been happy with. You know, I'm like, it doesn't exist. You literally wanted someone to stand and read the book out loud on a screen for like 7 hours or whatever it would take. And I was like, that's what the audiobook's for. You can't do that in a film. Film's 2 hours long.
Things have to change. Some things
exactly.
have to go.
Exactly.
So people that are not happy.
100%. And you're just never going to make everyone happy all the time. So I would love to see it. I would love to do it. You just kind of have to like let it go and be like, it's not my thing anymore. I've let someone else have it. So now I just have to. You wrote
the script technically.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and yeah, if you wrote the script, that's different because you were there. And I did write. I was supposed to write all of Single Girls To Do List, which is what's a killer there, because we would have had that, friends. We would have been right because I was doing it.
Someone just thought, oh my God, Single Girls To Do List is such a flashback.
Such a flashback. It was my first standalone. Wild that was the one. I was pitching a lot of stuff at the same time, and everyone wanted Single Girls To Do List, and I don't even know if they read it. I think they were just like, oh my God, what a great concept and a great title. I'm like, maybe give it a read. But they weren't worried about that. They just liked the concept of a list and a single girl. I'm like, okay, have at it.
Yeah.
So strange.
So I actually meant to ask this earlier when you said it. You said a Christmas Wish one, you found that hard because it was like the same. You met Groundhog Day, you said. And then you said when it went into Christmas Fling, you weren't very happy with it at the end. Do you think that was the experience you had with the Christmas Wish?
I mean, I'm never happy with them at the end. I'm never happy. And I know that about myself. And I genuinely do have to have a chat with myself and be like, you're never happy. Like, it could always be better. And the truth is, like, it could always be better. Like, one more pass, maybe I would have found one more joke. Maybe I would have sharpened it up 0.1%. And that, for me, as a perfectionist, is like, that I'd be happier. But you can't. Like, it's got to go out. Like, you can't be that person. But I just so clearly remember saying to my husband when the day I sent it in, I was just like, watch this be my most successful book when it's a piece of shit. And he was just like, well, it's not, is it? Because you always say that. I'm like, no, you watch it, Jeff. Like, you watch. They'll love this when it's shit. The publishers will love this. And then watch it be my most successful book ever in America. And I'm just like, oh. But then, like, maybe it's me that's wrong. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. And then, going back and reading bits of it and talking to people about it, I'm like, oh no, that was funny. That was pretty good. Like, that was okay. But I'll just never feel good about it. You know, I'm from Yorkshire. I was not raised to feel good about things. Yeah, I was not raised to feel good about my own achievements.
That is
I was
so
raised
true.
to find faults. Yeah.
That's just something.
So I think it's fine. Exactly. And I've been in America too long where they're like, oh my God, I'm so good at everything. And I'm like, how does that feel? What is that like?
Please
I
pass
can't
it on.
imagine. I know, like you meet some of the younger authors that are like huge authors, and they're just like, yeah, because I'm amazing. And I'm just like, wow, what? And I'm very impressed and proud, but it could never be me. Could never be me.
I'm with you on that. So obviously with you living in America now, you said that Christmas Flings took off really well over there.
Yeah.
I find that do you think it's because they think we're strange?
It's partly the kilt. Like, literally can't tell you enough of how many people are just like, oh my God, he's so hot in that kilt. I'm like, he doesn't even wear a kilt in the book. Doesn't even wear a kilt one time in the book, which we had like a massive fight about when they sent me the cover. And on the original cover, she was wearing like shorty pajamas out in the snow. I'm like, why is she wearing shorts? This doesn't happen in the book. What? And they're like, it's quirky and fun. And I'm just like, oh my God. And to take it back to Single Girls, when they sent me the first cover for Single Girls To-Do List, the original cover had the published cover has them sort of friends driving away in like a mini, like a soft top mini or something. And it originally was a speedboat. And I just remember getting it. It was the first time I'd come up against this in publishing because I was still so new, and the I Heart covers I loved. And I was just like, what's the polite way of saying, why is there a speedboat on this book? There's no speedboats in the book. There's nothing about speedboats in the book. But it did teach me to advocate for myself, to say no, and know when they're wrong. But on the kilt, they were right. On the kilt, they were right. America loves that kilt. They love a cute and cozy version of the UK. And with Christmas Fling, I felt like I could give them that without being a liar. You know, like everything in Christmas Fling is true. Like there are these big old houses. These people do exist. These places do exist. I'm not pretending like they're at Hogwarts. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not lying about what Brits do. Because sometimes they will read it and be like, oh, my version of England is afternoon tea and like everyone's stopping. And I'm like, yeah, okay, don't go, don't visit. Yeah. Whereas Christmas Fling, I could like give them what they wanted and it also be true. So love to see people enjoying it.
Yeah, like we said, it was a good one, but it's nice to see that obviously it's going well in another country.
Yeah, truly.
Kilt. Going back to what you just said about covers, so do you have much say when it comes to the covers of your books?
It depends. Like most authors do not. And earlier in your career, the less say you have, unless the breaks that is if you're an indie or a self-published author. Obviously, if you're like BK Borison's Love Light Farms books, obviously she came up with those covers as an indie and they kept them because they're already successful. And that has actually been amazing across the industry because it has sort of maybe suggested to some publishers that the authors do know what they're talking about and they are much closer to their readers than they are. I'm in a very privileged position that I've been doing it much longer and I have an established audience and I, in theory, know when to say no to a speedboat and they will listen. With the college romance, I've only seen roughs of that cover so far, but I am very much like, sorry, my cat's doing something really weird and like we're just going to let him. It's like attacking the window and there's nothing there. The ghost. Yeah, I'm sort of trying to stay back from that one because it is something new and different and I'm working with a new team and what they've done is fantastic. But it is in my nature to try and like get in. You know, I'm like, oh, but what if? And I'm like, no, it's great. They know what they're doing. They've done it before. They are experts in this area. That's why we went with them. So yeah, I have some say, but not full say.
Hence why the kilt was on the cover.
Hence the kilt. And they were right on that one. That's what made me the most mad. It's like they were right. It's fine.
We've got another question from Victoria, and she's a fellow Donegal. And let me read the full thing, but I feel like I'm going to say a word wrong, so bear with me on this.
All good.
Feels such an affinity for all Lindsey's books and the humour and culture references. Being a fellow Donegal who dared to move away, will we ever see any more Tess About a Girl series?
Oh, do you know, I get asked about Tess more than I anticipated. I would get asked about Tess. because she was always like in Angela's shadow. But the people that love her, which is so nice. No plans for a Tess at the moment, but again, with the way that random things are getting optioned and random things are picked out, like who knows, maybe someone's randomly going to be like, let's make a Tess movie, and like let's do it, and then she can have another book. But yeah, that was such a fun one to do at the time, because I was ready to sort of move on from the I Heart series and try something else, and it was extremely afraid that it was gonna bomb. So it was very lovely to see it be embraced. So thank you for A, being from Donny and surviving, and B, loving Tess. It's not a given. It's not a given that we all got out alive.
So obviously we know you write romance. Have you got a favorite trope?
I do love Just One Bed, and I keep doing it. And in a book I wrote called One in a Million, I think I genuinely thought I had invented it, because I wasn't reading that much romance at the time. It was 2017, 18. It was like a minute ago. So there wasn't as much like there is now. There wasn't what there is now, like nowhere near it. And you weren't encouraged to lean into tropes. And, you know, actually your editors would be like, it's too tropey. And you're like, you have a surprise coming down the line. But I wrote a Just One Bed in that book, and I was like, I'm a genius. I have put them in a single bed that they have to share. Oh my God. And then as things blew up again, I'm like, wow, yeah, no, we're all doing it. We're all doing it. And none of us have had an individual original idea ever once in any of our lives, in the best way. But I love to write Just One Bed. I love to read Just One Bed. I want to see all the authors twist themselves into knots, finding a new way to put people in the same bed.
Yeah.
And what happens afterwards. I love enemies to lovers as well. I love banter. I love banter. And I think you get that always when they start out hating each other.
I think it was Emily Henry's Enemy to Lover one. And at the end, even though you knew what it was going to be about, because the title says it just is a feel good one. And I'm also saying with a one bed one and the fake dating. I love a fake dating.
Yes. And that's why I wanted to do Christmas Fling, because I'd never done that, and I really wanted to do it. Like, and again, to do it in a way that like changes it a little bit or does an original spin on it. And like, as I said, there is nothing original under the sun, but it was fun to sort of challenge myself that way and be like, well, what if it's her that's the fake girlfriend, and like, what if she's not, what if she has got to be someone else who's awful? Like, that just felt like a new twist on something I love.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It would be. It's a funny way of doing it, because it. And I also I keep bringing up the Christmas Fling, but it's because I loved it so much. Even the parents, the first scene in that book, the tumble of everything else.
Yeah, poor parents who were terrible, but also like just want the best. They just want the best for their kids. But that's parents, right? Like, they're not always correct.
They're not. So obviously you've gone down to two genres now. Do you think you ever will try anything else in a different genre?
I mean, never say never. I used to, I mean, I was writing then, but I used to also, because I started in film and TV tie-in publishing as an editor, I mentioned earlier, I used to ghostwrite a lot of stuff, film and TV tie-in things. So I have done other extremely random projects that I did as a writer for hire back in the day. I wrote the movie adaptation, like the novel of the movie, you know, and sometimes the book comes out after the film comes out and it's universally terrible, and all of mine were dreadful also. But I did do the novelization of the Muppet movie, which was a real career high for me. And I did a novelization of the first Ouija movie, the Ouija board movie. Like, I did that, and that was nuts because I'd never written horror. So I did get to write a full-on horror, but obviously based on that script, so it wasn't my story. Yeah, I did some really random stuff. I was always trying to get to the originals and the Vampire Diaries, obviously. And I did do one there's a CW show called Rain, if anyone remembers that, but it was like Sexy Mary Queen of Scots. So stupid.
I don't remember it.
Oh my god, it was so good and so bad. And I wrote a Rain novel, and I was so happy with that, because I'm like, we're one step closer. We're at the CW, friends. And then they like cancelled the originals. I'm like, shit. So that dream did not come through. But yeah, it's always just fun. I think it's like anything, right? Like, you do your job long enough, and even if you love it, even if it's amazing, you want to do something a little bit different. And since writing is now literally the only thing I can do, and I have written myself out of the job market of any other transferable skills, it's like, how could I do this in a different way? So different genres are a good way to try something else.
I guess when you've been writing for so long, it's a little bit of freshness.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. Yeah, it's like same muscle, different activity.
Yeah, I like that. Francis put, I love the Winnie the Pooh reference in Christmas Flings.
Thank you. I do love I actually read that I was reading something online, so it was like a shopping guide, and it was like, these are the best underwear to wear if you want to Winnie the Pooh it around your house. And I'm like, I didn't know we would, like, everyone was saying Winnie the Pooh it. I knew some of us were saying Winnie the Pooh it, but I'm like, also, why would people be Winnie the Pooh in it around their house? Like, I'm like, just put a pair of shorts on. Like, I don't know. But yeah, love a Winnie the Pooh. Thank you.
Samantha put, the husband is asking if you're excited for the John Cena retirement match, and said eat.
Yeet to you too, yeet. And I am moderately excited for the John Cena retirement match, which is this Saturday, friends, if anyone's keeping up. But please tell your husband that I was at Survivor Series in San Diego a couple of weeks ago and got to see his last championship match against everyone's literally thinking I've lost my mind right now, against Dominic Mysterio. And even though I was never like a massive Cena fan, I do love him now as an actor. I think he's an amazing actor. And to be in the stadium for his big last live event match was nuts. It was like being in church. It was like the Pope had walked in. Like, everyone went wild. So it was a real experience. But yeah, we'll see. Let's see what John gets up to next. Let us see.
I was like, when I knew I had said it out loud, I was like, God, this is even going to be both ways.
I know, I'm so sorry. Yeet it.
I love it.
All
I
good.
love it. Okay, this is like some silly fun questions now. What's something readers would be completely shocked to learn about you?
Not that I love wrestling, apparently. That'll be fine. That is usually the thing where people say, what? Stop, what? Like, I just on these US events on the tour, and if it ever comes up, people genuinely would be like, what's wrong with you? And I can't tell them. I'm like, I just love wrestling. But not only do I love wrestling, I also co-host a wrestling podcast, which really does just like prove my commitment. So that's usually it. There's Tights and Fights, the weekly podcast on the Max Fun Network. Find me there talking about wrestling every week. Yeah, that's usually it.
I thought I was missing something with that when that comment came through. I was like, I've clearly missed it, but then I've missed it.
Yeah, truly. I don't hide it, but it's not something that comes up often. I've been to like 7 WrestleManias, 8 WrestleManias, like a lot of live events. I've interviewed tons of the wrestlers. Yeah, I love it. It's nuts, and I love it.
Amazing. So next one is, if you were stranded on a desert island, what will be the book you would pack?
Oh God. I'm like, I don't know. What would it be? I know people are like, oh, War and Peace, because I'll have so much time to read it. Like, if you haven't read it yet, why would you take it with you? Like, no, thank you. What would I take? Also, I feel like you want something chipper, because you're not going to be in the best mood.
And it's an island.
It would be, and it's an island. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it would be Bridget Jones's Diary, just because I've read it so many times. It's always dependable. Or The Secret History is my favorite book of all time, and I reread that sometimes.
Book club ones, I think, off the top of my head.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. It's always fantastic. So maybe one of those two. Like, no book. I want no book. I'm like, please, I'm alone on an island. Let me be. I don't want a single book.
Because once you've read it, you've read it. You don't want to read it again.
Exactly. And you don't want to take a punt on a new book, because what if it's terrible and it's the only one you've got? Would resent it for all time. It's
got to be a book you've read, because, like you said, if it's the one that you're not read, then
Imagine it's like your favorite author ever's next book and you're so excited about it and you're like, well, at least I've got this. And then you read it and it's bad and you're stuck on a desert island with it forever. That is like the seventh circle of hell.
And
Like,
then your
no,
author is not your favorite author. So then it's just
I
ruined
know.
it.
And you haven't even got anyone to talk to about it. Like, this is just the worst of the worst. Just take something that you know you like. Yeah.
I'd be lost without book club. So I need someone to talk about books with.
Exactly. Same. What the group chat is for. We have to have someone.
It's true. I've had a question. It's literally just fell straight out of my head. It was related to something as well. Oh,
It's probably about wrestling. Like,
yeah, definitely wrestling now. It's just on my mind now. Obviously you talked about your personality coming through in your books. Do any of your friends' personalities make them way into it?
yeah, I think so. I don't even know if I do it on purpose, like probably not consciously. But absolutely. I am the proud owner. owner. I have some very sassy friends. I have some excellent friends who do not hold their tongue and do not hold back. And I think we all need those friends. And they 100%, like Jenny, 100%. My friend Della, who actually was the first person to read I Heart New York, and she was reading it as I was writing it. She was staying with me and she'd be like, is the next bit done? Can I have it, please? She was the one that was like, you have to try and get it published. And if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be doing any of this. So she was my Jenny 100%. Yeah, they do. You can't not. Do you know what I mean? If you spend enough time listening to people being insane in your ear, they're gonna come out somewhere.
You've got to get your
100%.
ideas from somewhere.
Exactly. And let it be your positive influences and not your negative.
Yes, exactly. And I remembered my question last year. That just popped straight back into my head. Who's your favorite author or authors if it's too hard to narrow it down?
Oh God, it is. I mean, again, like Secret History is my favorite book of all time. So Donna Tartt, but had a bit of a desert island moment with God, what was it called? The one that was not good. They made the film. You all know what I'm talking about. But Donna Tartt's most recent novel, I loved The Little Friend, which was her second book that people were like not sure about. But then the one that came out a few years ago that was like, I say a few years, like a decade ago, and they made the film, and the whole thing was just like, what are you doing? And I know what she was doing because she's a big Dickens person, and she was trying to do a Dickens, and it's like, it's not it, Donna, it's not it. But I do love her, and I love her whole thing, where she's just like, nope, not interested. I'm in my corner.
I think
it
is one of the book club ones for my two of my clubs. I think now you
Amazing.
said the author, I'm sure I've read
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I love it. I usually love everything I read from Kazuo Ishiguro. I love. I do read a lot of romance, but it's not I don't enjoy it. I do love it, but it feels like work in a way. So I can't turn my work brain off. Like something has to be so good for me to just like enjoy it without mentally editing it. So usually the authors that I love that I'm looking forward to are ones that aren't writing romance, because I know that's something I can escape into and really like enjoy. But I do love an Ali Hazelwood. I'm always going to read an Ali Hazelwood. She's such a good writer and has so many strings to that bow, that she can do anything. So I always look forward to her new books. But yeah, it's you can't. No one knows who their favorite author is. Anyone who says they do, it's like there'll be another one. There'll be another one.
Yeah, I feel like I used to always say like Lisa Jules was for me because I love a thriller.
Yeah.
But then now because I've so many different books, I actually can't narrow it down.
Yeah.
So
No, it's so hard.
There's so many lovely books out there.
Yeah.
So
it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem.
I've got one more question, but I'm going to say to our people that are watching, if you've got any dying questions that I've missed when coming through, because they all come through at once, please send it again now before the end, and then I'll ask my final question. So, and that's when it goes out of my head again. I always ask this question to authors because I think it's really interesting. We sit here and we ask you loads of questions. Is there ever a question that you wish we would ask?
God. Like honestly, I probably not. Probably not, because the more questions that are asked, the more opportunity you've got to mess up. But I love talking to readers. Like otherwise, what do I know? How do I know what's going on? Do you know what I mean? And I think publishing is such a weird industry. Like, it's so opaque. Like, it looks like something from the outside that it is not on the inside. Like, the inside of publishing is just 95% posh people in an office working off vibes. Like, they don't know what's going on. When I worked in the office when I was an editor, and I like snuck in the back door as a little like comp kid, that managed to sneak in and get this assistant job because they needed someone that specifically knew about Groovy Chick. And I used to work at the Groovy Chick company. Like, literally, that's how I got my job in publishing. I never would have gotten in, never would have got a job in a million years. And HR were very clear about that. But they were doing Groovy Chick books and they needed someone. They've got no idea what's going on. Like, they'll pick a book and they love it and they'll throw £1 million at it, and then it just disappears. And then something else comes in and they're all like, oh, it's rubbish. It's so unoriginal. It's so shitty. And then someone else publishes it and it's $1 billion bestseller. Yeah. Like, no one knows what is going on in there. And I hate that people feel like they can't get in or that it's too hard. And they feel like that because it is. Like, they feel like that because it is made to be difficult. It is gatekept as an industry. But the best thing now is the self-publishing. And for romance in particular, like, you can put your books directly into readers' hands, and then they move from there. They move through the traditional network. Which is I've not answered your question even slightly, but
no, it's not.
Any questions?
It's leading into a different question. I was going to say, in saying how hard it is, what is your advice for people that want to be writers?
I mean, for writing, if you want to be a writer, like, the only genuine, legitimate advice to get started is just to get started. Like, I could say a million things about like this writing exercise, that writing exercise, this advice was really helpful, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, nothing matters until you're sat down writing. Like, and then just from there, the second piece is just to get it finished. Like, and someone said that to me years ago. They were just like, done is better than perfect. And obviously I've not accepted that. But at the same time, I'm like, I do try and abide by it. Like, it's my instinct to go back and keep trying to edit as I'm writing. Be like, oh, that's wrong, I need to fix it. That's wrong. And it's like, no, you just need to get it done. Like, get that first draft finished. That's the hardest part, the discipline of sitting down, and the hardest thing to find the time to do as well. Like, that's the other thing with writing. It demands so much of your time, and especially women, like, we don't have it. We've got a lot going on, and a lot of it's expected of us, and it's much harder for women. Sorry, men, not sorry. It's much harder for women to find that time and to be given that time. So forcing yourself, like disciplining yourself to sit down and do it when your time is so precious, when your time is not a commodity that you have endless amounts to give away, I think is the hardest part. So that's, you've just got to do it. You just got to sit down and do it. Go from there. Don't put the cart before the horse. Like, write the book first. The rest will come after that.
Good advice. So that's coming towards the end of it, but I would like to say thank you so much, and thank you for joining us, even though you've not been fully well. I think
no, thank you so much. I'm on so much Dayquil. Like, we're good. I feel like I can see through time. Like, I'm just like, what? Yeah.
I love that. I've had a fabulous time getting to talk to you. So
thank you.
And I will look forward to reading I Heart New York now.
Amazing.
And I want to say good luck for your 2 books we mentioned for next year, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. The Witch and the Wolf at the end of February, and Hit or Miss at the beginning of June. So thick and fast.
So thank you so much, and good luck.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. It's been so much fun.
See you later.